Most people think they know Canada. They picture Niagara Falls, the CN Tower, and polite people in red flannels. But that's not the real story. Beyond the postcards, there's a country most travelers never see. A country of forgotten coasts, ancient forests, and cultures older than most nations. This is the Canada that doesn't fit the brochure. And once you step off the tourist trail, everything changes. Canada is the second largest country on Earth. It stretches across 6 time zones and holds more lakes than the rest of the world combined. But size alone doesn't tell you what it feels like. This is a land shaped by ice, by isolation, and by the people who learned to live in harmony with both. In this film, we're traveling to 6 places that reveal the unexpected side of Canada. We'll start in the fjords of Gros Morne, where the Earth's crust breaks through the surface. Then we move to Haida Gwaii, an archipelago that time forgot. From there, we head to the Nahanni River, one of the most remote waterways in the world. Next, we visit head-smashed-in Buffalo Jump, a site that tells a story 6,000 years old. Then, the Athabasca Sand Dunes, a desert no one expects to find this far north. And finally, we end at L'Anse aux Meadows, where Vikings landed 5 centuries before Columbus. This is the Canada you didn't know existed. The boat cuts through dark water, and suddenly the cliffs rise around you. This is Gros Morne National Park on the island of Newfoundland. Most people don't realize that Newfoundland was its own country until 1949. It still feels like a world apart. Gros Morne is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and for good reason. Here you can see pieces of the Earth's mantle pushed up from the ocean floor millions of years ago. It's one of the only places on the planet where you can stand on rock that was once deep beneath the sea. The landscape is raw, almost lunar. But it's not just geology. For centuries, fishing communities clung to these shores, living in isolation and building their own distinct culture. The accent here is unlike anywhere else in Canada. The music, the stories, the way people greet strangers, it all feels like stepping into another time. Gros Morne reminds you that Canada is not one thing. It's a collection of worlds, each with its own voice. But this is only the beginning. We leave the Atlantic behind and fly west across the entire country. Our next stop is Haida Gwaii, an archipelago off the coast of British Columbia. The islands emerge from the mist like a secret. For thousands of years, this was the home of the Haida people, one of the most powerful cultures on the Pacific coast. The Haida were master carvers, seafarers, and storytellers. Their totem poles told stories of clans, spirits, and the balance between humans and nature. Today, you can walk through the abandoned village of Escangwaii, a UNESCO site where totems still stand among the trees. The forest has started to reclaim them, but their presence is undeniable. This is not a museum. It's a living reminder that indigenous cultures shaped this land long before borders existed. The Haida are still here, still carving, still telling their stories, and they're reclaiming their language, their art, and their sovereignty. Haida Gwaii teaches you something most travelers forget. Canada's history didn't start with Europeans. It started thousands of years earlier, with nations who understood the land in ways we're only beginning to relearn. And the journey keeps unfolding. Now we head north, into the Yukon and the Northwest Territories. This is where wilderness stops being a concept and becomes a fact. The Nahanni River carves through one of the most remote regions in North America. It flows through canyons twice as deep as the Grand Canyon, past hot springs and waterfalls that few people ever see. Virginia Falls is taller than Niagara, but you won't find crowds here. You won't find roads either. The only way in is by float plane or a multi-day paddle through grizzly country. The Desho Dene people have lived along this river for generations. Their stories speak of giant beavers, spirits in the water, and respect for forces bigger than yourself. Nahanni is a place that humbles you. It strips away the noise and leaves you with silence, scale, and your own thoughts. It's also a place that demands skill. This is not a river for beginners. It's a test, a journey, and a privilege all at once. And when you're there, floating through a canyon under the midnight sun, you realize something. Canada is not tame. It never was. But there's still more to uncover. We shift east again to the plains of southern Alberta. Here, the landscape opens wide under endless skies. And here, at the edge of the Porcupine Hills, is head-smashed-in Buffalo Jump. It's not a natural wonder, it's a monument to human ingenuity. For nearly 6,000 years, the Blackfoot people used this cliff to hunt buffalo. They would guide massive herds toward the edge, using knowledge passed down through generations. The buffalo would fall, and the people would gather meat, hides, bones, everything they needed to survive the harsh winters. It was precise, communal, and deeply spiritual. Today, the site is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but it's more than that. It's proof that indigenous peoples didn't just survive on this land, they thrived. They understood ecology, migration, weather, and timing in ways that modern science is only now catching up to. The name itself comes from a legend. A young man wanted to watch the hunt from below and was crushed when the buffalo fell. It's a reminder that this land has always demanded respect, and that every place has a story deeper than what you see on the surface. The unexpected keeps coming. You wouldn't expect a desert in Canada, but that's exactly what you find in northern Saskatchewan. The Athabasca sand dunes stretch for nearly 100 kilometers along the southern shore of Lake Athabasca. These are the most northerly active sand dunes on Earth. The sand is fine, almost white, and it moves with the wind. Dunes rise up to 30 meters high, shifting and reshaping year after year. What makes them truly unique is the life that survives here. 10 plant species exist nowhere else on the planet. They've adapted to the heat, the sand, and the isolation in ways science is still studying. It's an ecosystem that shouldn't exist, but does. The Dene people know these dunes well. They've traveled through them, hunted near them, and respected their power. For visitors, reaching the dunes requires a float plane or a serious expedition. There are no roads, no facilities, no signs. Just sand, sky, and silence. It's one of the most surreal landscapes in Canada and one of the least known. But our final destination takes us back in time even further. We return to the Atlantic, to the northern tip of Newfoundland. Here, at a place called Lands O' Meadows, history was rewritten. In the 1960s, archaeologists uncovered the remains of a Viking settlement. Not a legend, a real village built by Norse explorers around the year 1000. This was the first confirmed European settlement in North America, 5 centuries before Columbus. You can walk through the reconstructed sod houses and imagine what it must have been like to sail across the North Atlantic in an open boat guided only by stars and instinct. The Vikings didn't stay long, but they were here. and their presence changes everything we thought we knew about exploration, contact, and history. The site is quiet now, windswept and isolated, but standing there you feel the weight of what happened. You feel the collision of worlds that was still centuries away from becoming permanent. Lands O' Meadows is a reminder. Canada's story is older, stranger, and more layered than most people realize. Canada is not what you expect. It's not just mountains and maple syrup and politeness. It's fjords where the earth's bones break through. It's islands where totem poles stand in the rain. It's a river that cuts through wilderness so vast it makes you feel like the first person to ever see it. It's a cliff where ancestors hunted with precision for 6,000 years. It's a desert in the north and a Viking village in the east. It's a country that holds more contradictions, more surprises, and more untold stories than almost anywhere else on Earth. The Canada in this film is not on most itineraries, but it's the one that stays with you. So if you're ready to see a side of Canada that most people miss, start planning. Get off the main routes, ask better questions, and go deeper. Because the real Canada, the unexpected Canada, is waiting, and it's nothing like you imagined.